So now I'm here gathered with Saurabh. We will now talk about, well, the specific topics you said you wanted to talk about was like spiritual veganism and also health related things that has to do with veganism and such. First of all, how did you become vegan?
Good question. So I was raised vegetarian,
Oh,
and
really?
then yeah. So and then I found out that there's a lot of issues with animal farming, even in India.
Yeah,
And there was a person in Australia by the name of Claire who I offered her dairy milk once in the office, and she started crying. Sorry, she didn't start crying straight away. She was like, "This has milk," because she was a vegan because of her husband, and she opened up this article on PETA around how they inject hormones into animals to increase the milk, and and it increases their size of udders,
yeah,
and they showed a picture of like, so Clay kept reading that and scrolling that, and then there was a picture of a cow whose udder was touching the ground, and it said this is not natural for the cow. And as soon as they stop giving milk, they send them to slaughterhouses. So Claire started crying after reading that. So I was like, oh my god, I was 20 or 19 or 20, and I was like, I've got to do something about it. So I gave up on milk, got back on it because of my friend, but now given up on it. So I switched on and off, and then gave up on it.
okay, yeah, that sounds very. So where are you from? Did you say?
I'm originally from Mumbai, and Mumbai in India. And the thing in cities is like they don't use hormones there, but the animal farming is also not very good in India.
No.
I'm honest about it. I tell everyone about it. And the original ways of um, like getting milk from an animal, which was in Hinduism, was to basically look after the animal and see it as a pet,
Yeah.
not, and look after it. And there were other spiritual reasons for it, which is basically like, how we can visualize and make things happen. Apparently our pets can also visualize for us. So cows and like these buffaloes and these animals, they vibe a lot better when you look after them for their like their owners, and good things happen to them. So that was the belief and like the whole spiritual side, but it's not happening now at all. So I'm making everyone aware, even in Indian circles.
Yeah, sounds great. So this reminds me of when I lived in Colombia for a bit over a month. There was this Hare Krishna temple that I went to, and because they were talking about like vegetarian diets and such. A very interesting thing is they did produce milk. That was like
Hmm.
the well, that and honey. That was like the two animal products that they did produce. Though the amount of bulls that they had was immense because they didn't want to kill the bulls, so they just kept the amount of bulls. However, if you think about ethics and you want to produce, then we will start having this huge environmental problem after a while because what are you going to do with all the bulls? Like that's a very interesting thing to point
Absolutely.
out.
So I'm not even like with religious trustees crossing the lines on certain bits, and it's like it's Krishna is one thing and the trust is another. ISKCON is a trust who took on Sri Krishna, but Sri Krishna didn't form that trust. So humans just keep on making mistakes and doing their thing. In saying so, though, like with yeah, so that's where I'd like to
Yeah,
comment about Sri
yeah.
Krishna
So
side. I've been to ISKCON and also told the pundits that you guys are like slightly uh, too, that it's Krishna or no one else, but it's not in the Bhagavad Gita that way. So I quoted the verses as well, and I went, it's not like that. So anyway, I'm at loggerheads with a lot of places because I don't, if I don't like something, I say it.
Yeah. So that is like a very good transaction to like first topic that you talked about. So basically, when you say like spirituality, there are many different definitions of spirituality. But if I ask you what is spirituality to you, what would that be?
So for me, there's a quote on spirituality that I heard when I was young, and then I held to it. It is spirit, morality is not the end; it's the first step towards spirituality, and that's towards morality is usually like compared with just being moral with humans. But for me, it's like, can I hear the screeches and like, pain of sentient beings who share this planet with us, and yeah, I understand that even in India they eat a lot of meat. I don't want to lie about it. In the olden times, people used to eat meat. But like, at the end of the day, it's animal practices are not very good. It's not humane practices either. In the olden times, you were supposed to like just put a spell or a prayer to the animal, like they showed in the movie Avatar,
Yeah.
and thank it for the food, like to give us sustenance. And yeah, so that's where my belief starts, and also because I've had a pet. Like in my family, there's like dogs, and I've touched a cow once, and I've connected with animals,
Yeah.
so I could feel it.
Yeah. That's also very great. So, especially when you talk about the avatar and the kind of like a prayer for the animal before you kill them and such, it's a very long tradition, especially in like Native American culture. Um,
Hmm.
However, people try to justify their actions today under those standards, and it's I feel it's a little bit unfair to be honest because
Yeah,
today there is no necessity. So
true. There's no necessity. You're 100% correct. And people want to like use the globalization side of things for things that are convenient for them. But when it comes to globalization towards this, which reduces the pain for someone, they put a blind eye to it. And yeah, and the worst part is that it's not even good for people's health when there's a substitute available.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, since you're from India, you're aware of Zakir Naik, right?
Who?
Of Zakir Naik?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, there was a Hindu asking him questions about killing in the Quran and such, and you've seen it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he goes, I
Yeah.
like
He
to.
brought up that with the teeth full. The thing is, I debated a politician, a Norwegian politician back, and he also brought back this like a canine teeth type of argument as well. Yeah.
By the
So
way, I
yeah,
like my hairstyle. By the way, I just want to like go
okay.
that I'm going for the Jason Statham look now because it's my hormones or whatever it is. But I
Okay.
like your hairstyle.
Yeah.
All
So
right, yeah,
yeah.
continue.
Yeah, so I remember he said that, or what did he say exactly? So, and if people in India stop eating meat, then it's no problem for me, because then it will be cheaper. It is good for me that people aren't eating meat.
That's effed up.
Yeah, it
And
is.
the thing is, he also said, like if he used some word for a person with senses, like a human being without senses, would you
Yeah,
like had some? I don't remember, but like he lost me at the whole.
yeah, with the
Yeah, it
teeth.
took
Yeah, yeah.
like where is the evolution topic
Yeah, exactly.
of the human being included in this?
Well,
And there's one. Mhm.
Sakir Naik, he doesn't believe in evolution, by the way.
Maybe he doesn't, but it's like at the end of the day, it's not even good for the people. I actually wrote to an organization in India, which is a Muslim organization, requesting them with like brotherhood, like
Yeah,
relating to them, like going, considering you guys as like if I were to consider you as brothers now, and humanity side of things now, with what has happened after COVID,
yeah,
it is in your best interest to propagate this, because it's even worse with the animal farming practices or animal slaughter practices in certain low socioeconomic backgrounds, and I feel for them. They didn't have money, probably they ate animals and all of that. But now it's not the case in India. Like, for the same price, you can get really good veggies for cheap.
yeah,
India is an agrarian country,
yeah,
so it's a farming is its foundation. Yeah.
yeah. Especially when you talk about the COVID thing, like it should be in people's best interest to avoid animal products nowadays. It's just
Yeah,
people won't listen to it even.
true.
We're-
I mean, if swine flu did not wake people up, and if this doesn't wake people up, then people shouldn't be blaming vegans to try and help. You know,
Yeah, I remember I addressed this issue to my brother. He's a hunter, by the way. Yeah, I grew up with farming and hunting, so I'm actually like this. I shouldn't say it. Was I used to say that I'm the black sheep of the family, but the black Hebrew Israelites told me not to use the word black in the sentence. So yeah, I was the vegan sheep in the family. You see, so
I
yeah.
understand.
Um,
I actually
so,
started to kill my dad when I was young. I still remember I was like walking past a shoe shop
yeah,
and very young, and I told them, why do we even use leather? I don't
yeah, true,
understand.
true.
Because I went to this cool shoe shop and I saw some non-leather shoes, and I'm like, going, this is fine.
Yeah,
So I've gone non-leather as well.
good.
Don't
Yeah.
buy leather.
Now that's also very interesting. Back to what I was about to say. So I brought this back to my brother about like COVID-19 and the effect. He was really fast over to talking about, oh, but the Chinese use animal products for many things. So it's basically libido product for them. They probably use bat wings to increase libido and such. And it was like he was constantly trying to put the blame on something else than meat production.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And like what happened, I believe that this is just like, the vegan cause, how to advance it. So I
yeah.
started to get into vegan circles in Melbourne and in Sydney. It's very small.
Oh,
Uh, but in Melbourne, it's pretty huge. So I was in Melbourne for about 2 years. Uh, in India, vegan circle is medium size, but vegetarian circle is pretty big. So I started to notice that people's egos are so like sensitive towards it, because and like I understand, because I used to like eggs a lot. I
yeah,
used to make omelets and hit the gym and all of that, because someone told me there's a lot of protein in the white eggs, and there is. But and then what happened is this ego, like people feeling like he's trying to attack me when you try to talk about veganism to a meatarian. So what I'm trying to do now is like not try to put a sentence, put a few sentences in there going, look, this is normal for everyone. Everyone ate meat,
yeah,
but the next stage has come. As you said, it's not needed anymore. There's
yeah.
products available.
Well, people kind of want to continue, and they kind of use that as a justification as well, which is it's very weird because there are so many things in the past that we stopped doing because, well, of course it was necessary at one time, but it isn't anymore. I remember
Mm.
my grandmother. being the Norwegian lady now in her 80s, she used to be in child labor. Uh,
Oh,
but that doesn't mean that children today should be doing labor.
not at all. Not at all. I'm an activist, online activist for fair trade as well,
Oh yeah,
and yeah, and I've been writing to places for minimum wages in countries and like fair trade side of things.
yeah. Some on top of animal, no, sorry, some human right work. Yeah, it's it's very interesting because now lately I've been watching so much like these type of black slavery in America type of films that I've just searched up to find some interesting stories. And I'm just thinking, the arguments used by the slave owners are almost identical to the arguments I get from like the people who choose to consume animal products. You have any like thought on
Mm.
that?
The word where there's a disconnection there is the word called desensitization.
Yeah,
So there's a gradual desensitization in kids, and there's an example for it for human desensitization, which is the whole comedy videos where someone is on a skateboard and falls off,
yeah,
or like someone is like on a and there's clips and there's like people laughing behind it,
yeah,
and like someone is on a skiing thing and they fall off and they get hurt. Some of the videos have like people getting hurt in it. And I was at my friend's place and he's got like kids,
yeah,
and we were watching and we were laughing, and the youngest one is this girl. She was very little, now she's like grown up. She's very little and she goes, "That is not even funny." And I'm going,
yeah,
that's actually so true. That's not funny. And people start to laugh at it and go, over time it desensitizes a person.
yeah.
So this whole programming people side of things to desensitize them is the main cause. I
Yeah, it's also kind of a way for people to escape like a reality of things in some way.
think.
Like lots of comedians are famous for this now. That they basically take sensitive topics and they make jokes about them so that people don't have a hard time thinking about it as a bad thing. So
Mm,
people joke about 9/11 and like ha ha ha, and then they don't have to deal with the depressing thought of how bad that was. So that is something that has been
I
in
agree.
use for a very long time. But I'm not sure if we can totally relate it to veganism how it is now. Well, of course, people are making jokes about vegans all the time. Uh, though, is it related though?
It is. It is because people try to joke and then just completely disconnect from it and make others joke about it as well,
Yeah,
so
that
that
I
they can
agree. Yeah,
join the same tribe of people and they feel artificial sense of security through it.
yeah,
And that's all ridiculous in a way, to be
yeah.
honest.
So I
Humans are so
yeah,
desensitized that heaps of times when the person, like I get that more because like I'm in a brown or black or Indian body. I identify myself as a soul now because I had some experiences and I had this like sort of some mini awakening, and I can feel a person's soul a little bit more. But I see that all the time with the way like I get treated sometimes by some people. Some are very nice to me, and then I know they didn't see my difference, or they didn't see my race, or they didn't see this or that. You know what I mean? And it like absolutely makes me feel like religion has failed with those people.
oh yeah.
Because I did my investigation on research on all of the religions, and I found out it's written clearly about doing some of the good things. You know what I mean?
Uh, yeah, you kind of like I
Like,
sort of
like
hear what you're
religion.
saying, but it's like
So, so I mean, religion. makes, like, if you read the true values of it, it's gonna make, like, towards humans, our karma needs to be, our actions needs to be extremely good, like with, the Ten Commandments side of things,
Okay.
or like even the Hindu Vedas and all of that. But
Yeah, the Veda.
in
Yeah.
my country, it's not like in India. It's not happening. I don't want to be holier than thou about it. There are issues everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know what is happening, but like in the end of the sentences, you're kind of cutting out. Not sure
Oh,
what.
right. Okay. I'm not sure what's happening.
No.
Unless
Okay.
my housemate has cut off my Wi-Fi
No,
because
it's
they don't like veganism.
okay. Yeah, it sounds good now. Though. Yeah. It's strange. When I talk to people about different things, especially when people use religion to justify eating meat. It's something that I hear a lot. For some reason, I feel Muslims are easier to reach than Christians. Like, I haven't talked to that many Hindus in the past, but they seem to be easier to reach than Muslims even. What is your experience with that?
So when you say reaching for the veganism cause, or
No, yeah, yeah, reach them in the way
or
that
just
make them
reaching them
convince
by
them to go
moving
vegan.
them, or convincing them to go vegan. So I believe, like, that's because when the religion was developed, or like when the religion happened, the times on what was available with food and everything was a different, like, era.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
sure.
completely different, like, time,
Yeah,
and
but I mean, like
people
today, when I
today.
talk to people, it seems like Christians are some of the hardest to reach. Then Muslims is a bit easier than that, and I also find Hindus to be easier to reach than Muslims. Do you know why there's such a separation between which faiths are harder to reach?
So I find that, like, say, firstly, I'll comment on, like, I don't have a religion anymore. I mean, I don't like to identify myself with any religion after seeing what religion has done in this world, and how it programs kids to have a separation. You know,
Yeah, sure.
so within the whole Eastern spirituality, the whole separation side of things is mentioned in many mantras and all of that. Like, so to focus that there's no, the separateness is out of ignorance.
Yeah, yeah,
That we
sure.
are all separate from each other and all that. And in most of the mantras, there's like the word called. Give me one sec. I'll just open this
Okay,
because I think it echoes. My voice echoes to my housemates, and they must be sleeping. Just give me one sec.
okay.
So there's a word called Sat Chit Ananda, and I like read up on it, which is in like most mantras. Like Satchitananda. What it is basically, it is to mention the soul's nature, which is Sat, which is truth, Chitta is consciousness, and Ananda is bliss. So there's like a lot of focus on, like, um, identifying yourself as a soul
Yeah,
whose innate nature is that its consciousness is bliss by default, unless you screw it up with living unorganically or like not being in your nature and all of that. I find that there's like when it comes to Christians, like, there's and Hindus as well, and Muslims as well. There's a lot of types. Like, as in a person who's following the same religion from another country is different, and slightly different takes on things. Like the way they approach it. So if I were to share the veganism side of things with some, like, Hindus who identify themselves as warriors,
yeah,
um, they just tell me, oh, well, in this story, in this, like, olden book, there was some meat in there which was offered to this deity and all that. Now the deities accept whatever is given with love, but they don't like approve of it. You know,
yeah,
it's not like they prescribed it.
yeah.
And it doesn't happen anymore, but like they want to just justify, their deeds, whatever they do. Now, I find like, although I must say this, like when it comes to the Christian community, um, people have taken on not vegetarianism. I like what Christians do when it comes to like when they do something, they do it completely.
Okay.
There's no half-hearted ways of doing things. So, like, say someone gets convinced by this whole veganism side of things, they'll do it to the dot. They won't cheat around milk and stuff. Like, generally speaking, I'm just saying because it's it's the attitude of if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it properly.
Yeah.
So yeah, and reaching out to all of the Metarians, irrespective of religion, is a bit difficult.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think in Islam there's like some aspect of the whole goat side of things. Like there's a festival around it,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of Indian Muslims who are activists who are trying to create awareness that this is not needed.
Yeah.
And every time that festival comes around in the year, I see a lot of tweets by like who are Muslim activists, trying to create awareness
Yeah.
because it's easier when it comes from someone from your own background to reach him. Or else it's like, is he trying to put my religion down by saying this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So although your intention is just, I wish you good health, mate. That's all. But
Yeah.
it can be easily misinterpreted or misunderstood because misunderstanding is sometimes convenient.
Yeah. For some people, it's different. So, um, often, more often than any other, I see Christians group of people. No matter what I see, they just go to this sentence of, "Oh, but I choose to believe what I believe in and the way that I believe in it."
Mm-hmm.
With Muslims, it's more like I just mentioned a surah, for example, that every child is born a Muslim. Can you give a child a knife in their hand and then just kill somebody? No, they can't. No matter if it's a goat or if it's a cow or yeah. So I just mentioned something like that, and
That's correct. There's an activist who every year posts this Muslim kid who is crying profusely, hugging his pet goat in the house because that goat was being taken away.
yeah,
And I believe today that deep down, this is the perfect time when people have woken up a bit towards this, and I could feel it when I was writing to these organizations in India. Like just once I wrote properly because I was a little bit scared myself that I could be misunderstood about like this being about a religious thing, but I don't care about like trustees and just human. Anyway,
yeah,
trying to create like just impose certain things which is also bad for health.
yeah,
So yeah. Anyway, so I saw that with the kid that you're mentioning.
yeah. So the thing is, I mentioned that surah, where that is said because I've seen that clip as well, and a very interesting thing is that I just say this one thing, and then I get Muslims on board with veganism.
Yeah.
It has happened so many times. However, with Christians, I can bring up verses upon verses of Bible in the Bible where it supports veganism and such. They're not reachable. It's just so weird that just because somebody has a different religion, they're harder to reach than people from other religions, and that is something that I just find to be really weird. So,
Even like my neighbors in India, Mumbai, were Jains.
yeah,
So, you know about the
yeah,
Jainism
I know
diet?
what Jainism is. Yeah,
Yeah. So that diet, they don't eat onion, garlic, or anything like grown
no.
under the
Yeah, for those who
uh,
doesn't know, Jains are way more strict than just pure veganism. Many of them
Uh,
also just wipes the path that they're walking on so that they won't step on any insects and so on. Yeah,
but they have milk,
yeah, they
the
have milk.
animals. And when I told them about it, it was like, yeah, the animals. And the next day, it's like, to their child, they must be going, do you want this with bone beta?
Yeah,
It's because it's like, a habit over the years to like, and the habits which are set in the whole, Indian society, it's very difficult for them to move like the little bit because the products available in the vegan area are still not as many in India.
yeah,
I would like to see more products which are in Western nations, like Crecho chocolate,
yeah,
which is a vegan chocolate bar. It's yum, and there's soy milk at affordable prices and all of that. Healthy
yeah,
stuff. I want to make the transition.
yeah. It's
So
very
I'm going to write
interesting.
to the minister in India.
Yeah. So if you can't reach Jainists with dairy, then it's like,
Mm.
what the heck?
Yeah,
It should be so obvious, especially when they have like almost like extreme ways of not causing any harm, and they just won't give up dairy. It's it's just so bizarre.
that is bizarre.
Oh yeah,
That is bizarre. That's because of the habit.
yeah, habits. Yeah, it often comes down to habits, to be honest. Like I don't know, like when I first went vegan, it was like I just the day before I was thinking, yeah, I will go vegan eventually, but as soon as there are more options available. I thought that the
Mm.
day before.
But good on you, mate. Good on you. Every time I see someone who's from meat, basically traditionally a meat-eating family, who's gone all the way towards veganism, I think about how difficult it was for me to give up milk.
Oh yeah,
And when this person just got rid of like the entire thing that they were fed through childhood, because apparently research says that your taste buds are like set at a certain age with what you eat, with your new like
yeah. I haven't heard about
brain
that.
and your. No, it was in a documentary on Macca's.
Okay,
So anyway,
okay. Funny. So when I grew up, I was brought into like taught about hunting and how to do that. So my father's a moose hunter. Do you know what mooses are?
yeah, like reindeer family. Yeah.
Yeah, they're huge in comparison to reindeer.
All right.
Yeah, they're yeah. The tallest moose I've seen was about 3 meters tall. So
Mm.
yeah, or
I
or
wouldn't know that.
somewhere around there. Yeah, they're
If I
absolutely.
see like any animal which is other than a dog or a cat, I like run a fair bit. Like the ones which I feel have some weapons on them, like horns and stuff, like a little bit distant from them.
Yeah,
And there's no moose or reindeers that I've ever seen in like
yeah.
real.
The moose hunting is basically the main reason why people hate wolves in this country. Have you heard about it?
Yeah. No,
Now, the thing is,
no.
there is a huge wolf hate here, and many people want the wolf to go extinct from Norway. They gave the blame on fear from people, and they gave the blame on that. Oh, they take a few sheep every year, but actually, it's people want to hunt moose, and it's almost religious. It's
Oh,
absolutely horrible.
are they a threat to humans?
Come again?
Are they a threat to human life? Like, do they attack humans?
Wolves?
Wolves do, right? Wolves and moose.
Um, in European recorded history, the two last time a grey wolf killed humans was last in 2009 in Russia and in 1800 in Norway. That's the two. So that's the only recorded times. I see people bring up other stories that is also between, but there is no evidence. So now they're next to harmless to people. There is a place in Russia where they tend to attack people, but it's because food is scarce in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, I didn't know that.
no.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
We have
moose, moose
Mhm.
attack people way more often.
Oh, right. I didn't know that at all.
So hippopotamuses they tend to kill how much what like 2,800 people a year. So I
Mhm.
think that many people die of hippopotamus attacks. Uh,
It's more scary this
yeah,
time.
moose tend to attack people a little bit less than that. So it's like I think they measure it to be like 100 attacks less, but there's 1 to 2 people who die from the attacks. So they
Mm.
can they won't kill you, but they will seriously injure you.
All right. So see, my issue is when I read something in a spiritual book. Who was a devotee? There was a Caucasian devotee of Paramahansa Yogananda. Her name was Faye, and she changed her name to Dayamata. And she wrote a book once. And back then, I was like super spiritual, reading all these books. And there's this section on consciousness levels on different animals.
Yeah,
And when is it justified to actually take a life of another being? Is when, like, on the level of consciousness, if someone from a like a low consciousness attacks someone from a like a higher consciousness, so to speak, like a snake attacking a human, I'd kill it. I won't think twice about it. I'm
yeah,
sorry. I'll pray for it. I'll pray for its
yeah, sure.
departed, like soul or whatever there is in it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will blame you for self-defense in that regard. Uh, so personally, I don't even view all species equally. I don't even view all people equally. It really depends on like how important they are for like or more so how much well-being they're able to experience.
Mm-hmm.
Many people bring up this often to vegans that but you compare humans and animals and you put us on the equal level, and it's like it's not like I put us on equal level. It's just it doesn't matter if you have like $2 or if you got $1,000. Both is enough to buy you a Coke. it, it's just because something might have lower value doesn't mean that it doesn't have value.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's true. I mean, like there is still the light of like we are meant to, even in the Eastern spirituality, we are meant to see that as extensions of this light in
yeah,
all of the beings. But like when it comes to like a child being attacked or there's constant attacks on kids or something like that, people have to take a practical approach.
yeah,
And there's in India there was this like tiger, yeah, tiger who was killing around, and they just got rid of him.
yeah.
So
In Azerbaijan, I think they killed an entire pack of wolves because they got rabies. So
yeah,
and I don't see any problem with that, honestly.
I don't see that either.
No.
I don't
So
see
people
problem.
think we have to go to like the extremes as vegans to just accept not killing at any cost.
Yeah,
But I think
yeah,
that
that.
yeah, I think those people have some extreme views on their own hand because they say like this is humans, this is animals. Okay, so what do you have in these animals? Okay, we got a deer here and we got oysters. You put them in the same category, but you got a chimpanzee here and you got a human here. Uh, it's so bizarre that you would draw a hard distinction between humans and chimpanzees, but you won't draw hard distinctions between deer and with
Mm.
oysters. It's just bizarre to me.
In like say that I'll give you two funny comebacks with two people from different backgrounds.
Yeah,
So once there was like my firstly in the Hindu side, someone said, "Oh, don't worry about it. That animal is going to get another better life. Like he might come back as human." I'm like, "Are you serious? So that's how you justify your killing?" And then there was a person who was my very good friend, and I used to work with him here, like, and this person is from a Christian background, and they
Yeah.
quoted something from Genesis, and they went like, oh, in this it's written that whatever is on earth is like meant for you as a like blessed child of God to use. So they like that person interpreted that as
Yeah.
everything is just mine and animals as well and
Yeah.
like that. So I couldn't say much. But
So, very funny thing you bring up there. Let me see. I got a Bible here somewhere. Yeah, here. Very interesting thing. If you go to Genesis, this is very interesting, by the way. Let me see. 128. It's. Let me see if I can find 28 here. Yeah, because it says that let me see. God bless them. Be fruitful and be many on the earth. Let me see. Yeah, and the humans should have dominion over the animals and such. It was explained there, but in the next verse, it says, "I give you every plant that bears seed, and that shall be food for you."
can you repeat that, please?
Okay,
The second sentence.
yeah. God said, "See, I give you all the plants that bearing seed, and that shall be food for you." And that
Oh,
is
right.
mentioned straight after the part where people are using to say that humans are worth more than animals and therefore we can kill them. And this brings me to another point, especially a spiritual view that many Christians have is that, oh, but animals don't have souls, therefore we can kill them, and therefore you cannot kill humans. But the thing is, if they don't have souls, that means that they can't have any afterlife. That would be the end for them. So wouldn't it be worse to kill an animal if they don't have souls?
Mm, good logic there. Yeah.
Yeah, so so
And
like the logic kind of like
yeah.
disappeared.
Mm. So I can't, of course, touch on those topics of sensitive topics of religion with people. So I just take the view of convincing them through a health standpoint.
Okay, okay.
But this was surprising what you read out. This is
Oh,
surprising. The second sentence.
there is way more. So if you look at this, all of these are
All right.
like arguments that you can use against. So I've went through many religions and I read up text and such to know which comebacks I can have to like each religion. So I got many religious books and I've kind of tagged a few things to like see which arguments that I can use. So if I talk to a Muslim, then I'm saying I'm bringing up things that are in the Quran or from different hadiths and such. Uh,
You're woke is what they call as woke.
well, yeah.
W-O-K.
Yeah, but it's so interesting because there are other things. So if you talked about health, let me see if I can find it. It's in Daniel. Yeah, this is Daniel. Let me see. So I don't misspell this. No, that was Hosea. Daniel, was that before or after? No, I don't need to spend too much time on it, but anyways, essentially, it said that he asked them to go away from like the strong drinks and from the royal food, which was basically meat, and then he was asked to bring him vegetable and water instead. So he like tried his. I know that they use nicer words, but the word originally meant slave. So it tried the slaves first, and then their health got better, and then the entire kingdom started to adopt like a more plant based diet. It is in I think it's in Daniel 1. I just couldn't find it. So it's just
Is
very
that
interesting.
just so that I'm for awareness purposes? Is that the Bible or is it a supplementary text?
No, it is Bible. It isn't non-canonical or
Wow.
anything. It's straight up from the Bible. This is Norwegian translated version. Now, if you
In
if you want non-canonical text, then I would recommend reading the Gospel of the Nazarenes.
I read Marianne Williamson,
Okay, yeah,
who is written Course of Miracles.
yeah,
My brother-in-law is a Catholic. I gave up on religion after my
yeah.
ayahuasca and San Pedro experiences.
Yeah.
which are psychedelics, and I experienced transcendence and all that. But even before that, I couldn't like get convinced by some of the deeds that happened in history by the main religions. And yeah, but like the things that resonate within, I remember. So I know, like, Jesus apparently, when he was dying on the cross, he was being killed on the cross, and he like prayed to God and said, "Forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they do."
Yeah.
And Eckhart Tolle has written about this, so that's how it came to me. Like, he's quoted this and all of that on forgiveness, and in Indian scriptures as well, there's a lot of good,
Yeah.
high values and spiritual stuff which is written, but how many are following? So, for me, the scripture is as good as like people following it. And
Yeah.
in India, there are like many scriptures, but the supplementary scriptures like which were written by some person like Manu Zakir Naik quoted from that text, and like someone else, like even Hindus sometimes like go some story, and I'm like, I know that was not in the main text, but I
Yeah.
don't say it. It was not in the Bhagavad Gita or Ramayana.
Yeah.
Like, but with compassion for like how humans had to eat it to sustain themselves when there was no vegetation around,
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like the same thing from the Bible. So the first time that it's even mentioned about meat eating is after the flood. you know. Also, another very interesting thing when you talked about Jesus hanging on the cross. Um, uh, I've read a few non-canonical gospels, and it's also mentioned in the Gospel of the Nazarenes that I mentioned. There was some kind of metaphor to Jesus being born amongst the animals. It was written something like so that he would redeem from their suffrage and bondage, so something like that. And that metaphor has
Yeah.
like totally disappeared. So
So,
yeah.
mm,
Do you also like reckon some other like spiritual texts where it has been like the same kind of thing where some meaning has been lost?
it's with I feel that trustees have the addition of books in all religion, and like they can sometimes like edit things. Everyone knows about it. I think the entire even religious people sometimes like deep down inside they know that some things would be edited, or in fact it's lost in translation, I've
True.
heard. So Sanskrit has many words which cannot be translated into English.
Yeah.
Hebrew has many words which cannot be translated into English, or if they do, they find the closest word for it,
Yeah.
which doesn't mean the same what it meant back then.
No, exactly.
And that's a huge gap because people, when they read these books, they take that as, like this is said and written by my teacher who is a miraculous angel. And the miraculous angels
Yeah.
continue their compassionate work. But, the books,
Yeah.
how can they
Gotcha.
come back and edit it?
Yeah. What do you
How
think
can they come
about
back and go,
yeah? What do you think about hunters who try to like justify their cause by like spiritual means? If you see what I
so,
mean.
what would their justification be?
It's more like they're going back to nature and back to like the shamanistic culture of the Native Americans and that sort of thing. On like the life will just go on, so it doesn't matter that I killed them, kind of type of thing.
That's like more shamanic in native Indian side of things, as you're saying.
Yeah,
They also practice this whole praying, like the movie Avatar, where they pray to the
yeah,
animal, and in that intention, they believe that this has cancelled some karma around it, and it's the same again. Like, do we need it? As you said, now do we need it? We don't need it now. Now the Native Americans, or like the Indian culture also is around very shamanic types. And from what I know, I actually watched a video on, I think it was a Swedish woman who was like playing some musical instrument. the cows danced after a certain time, and all of them just came close to her. And when this is definitely India culture,
Yeah,
because there was a cultural music to it. It wasn't like someone making it up.
yeah.
It was a cultural instrument.
So
So
people don't, yeah,
we
so people don't, yeah, so people don't get confused because we're talking about Native Americans and Indians here. No,
oh, sorry,
when we say Indians, we mean people from India.
I jumped topics. So the Native American side of things, I feel they don't need it now. The cultures, no matter who it is, we don't need it now.
Yeah,
Globalization and the availability of products has made it very simple to help ourselves with good health.
yeah. So it's a lot of things that you can go through. Some people say that you lose out on some spiritual aspects by not killing animals and such. What would be your reply to that?
No, that's you don't lose out on spiritual aspect for not killing an animal.
No.
So I should have been like perfect on your question. You did mention it. Yeah, people
Yeah.
don't lose any, and why would they lose it?
Yeah.
That
So if people have like some arbitrary reason for believing that we should kill animals for some kind of
in India, the some of the warriors, I don't know, like there are a lot of warriors types who are vegetarian and not vegan but vegetarian. But there are like some from the warrior backgrounds who believe that this will keep me aggressive. This will keep my fighting spirit alive. Look at the world. What if we are being attacked? Do I want to be a person who's like being pushed around and walked over? Look at what happened in the world.
yeah.
So yeah, that's and because when people follow veganism, if they don't like eat right, then these warriors are not gonna be very strong. They can just sustain themselves and be healthy, but they want these like big guns and show off, to the enemy that don't think we are weak and all that. So that side of things, I don't know how to fix that. I don't know how that's gonna be fixed.
Yeah. It's very
The
interesting.
only way that can be fixed is by the world coming together, uniting, and reducing wars and killings, and then there's no need to do all of this. Like,
Yeah.
there's no need to be over aggressive and trying to go. I want the animal protein.
Yeah. So let's bring it a little bit over to like the health concept now. Since we've been been talking about like the spiritual aspect for a long time. Um, One thing that I also want to like get clear because some people who just go plant based for health reasons, they don't get the results that they want, and then they leave the diet basically.
Mhm.
So isn't it like the dangerous when you like promote health and then they don't get the results that they want, or what is your thought on that?
Yeah. So my thoughts on that is there's certain strategies to maintain good health with veganism, which is balanced diet and not being lazy with exploring recipes. So having a variety of colors of vegan food and not being lazy with sourcing it and just going, oh, I'm gonna eat this same like 2 to 3 dishes and revolve it throughout the year. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna eat chickpeas and I'm gonna eat some like just two veggies in one thing. Yeah, I think you get the point. So that's one.
Yeah, so I've seen so
Um,
many people online, especially 2 years ago when there was this huge "why I'm no longer vegan" type of videos going viral. It was very
yeah.
interesting because these people, I was a little bit looking into what they were doing. A lot of them were raw vegans. That was one thing. Another thing is that many of them did not take any supplements, and thirdly, a lot of them were drinking their own pee.
Okay.
And people were thinking that they were doing the healthy thing, And that can be pretty dangerous if they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where like the awareness on what sources of food, that's all available now as well. Like vitamin B12, people quote all the time. It's very available to vegans.
Yeah.
People quote protein all the time as well. The thing with protein is,
Oh,
I read
you're,
a
you're
book.
being really silent again.
Um, the thing with protein, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, the protein. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I've come a little bit closer. So the thing with protein is, I read an American doctor's book on plant-based diet. Actually, there were two doctors in there, and I don't remember the name, but I remember the message. So what they explained was the whole understanding of protein from animals is incorrect, and they had like scientific research behind it. So they explained as like, humans thinking that here's a buffalo meat or something, and then I eat it, and then it's like I got some human meat here, like protein
Yeah,
here. You know what I mean? But he explained like when you consume it, the body disintegrates it, and it takes a lot more energy for the body to like break the meat into aminos,
yeah. Amino
different
acids. Yeah,
aminos, and these amino acids are like bricks. So it breaks the thing into bricks, and then human body, and then it goes, I need this brick, this brick, this brick to make the human protein, and then it makes the human protein. But then he said, look, it consumes a lot of energy. There's a lot of unclean protein, animal protein. Vegetarianism is vegan protein is like easier for the body to break and go through the system. And I think a lot of people who eat meat agree to this.
yeah,
But agreement does not mean they're going to switch ways. But like one day, the people who agree to it somewhere within could change their ways
yeah.
one day.
Yeah, I went to the hospital for not so long ago. I had to stay there for a few days due to some neurological issues I had. When they made me food, they had beans to almost anything because they were in this belief that I so sorely needed more protein. It's just
Yeah.
so weird that people think like believe in this protein myth. It's so ingrained in people that the people working at the kitchen were thinking, "Oh, he needs the protein."
Absolutely, I understand. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so.
Sorry, yeah, I'm just in my room talking to someone. Hey guys, I hope I'm allowed to. Sorry, my husband.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
fine.
I'm in my room. I'm supposed to do my thing in my room quietly. I'm not
Okay, okay, okay.
trying to make
Gotcha.
it loud, so I'm not annoying anyone. That's all.
Okay.
Um, so sorry though. So yeah, about the whole, it's flawed. The whole arguments by some people are flawed, and the reason why they are continuing on to it is just because it's convenient to go to the same food and go, I just ate this and I got all my nutrition.
Yeah.
It's,
It's very interesting because a lot of people bring up beef because of like its complete amount of nutrients and amino acids and so on. And the thing is, I don't know why people feel like it's important to get all the nutrients from one food item. Like
it's
why would that be
convenient
important?
just because there's convenience there, and I feel today that there's a lot of, like say, that person might not be lazy in other areas, but like they try to switch, and they try to like go, and then I can't be bothered because like when they're saying that, can't be, I got this and this, but I couldn't get this item. Who's gonna think about this recipe now? It's so hard. And then what happens is they start to think, oh, it's just easier to just go with this because the tongue is craving. It
Yeah,
takes a long time for a person to like train it.
yeah. So many people have this ridiculous idea of how difficult it is to go vegan. Like, oh, you need to think of this and you need to think of that, and And why do you think people exaggerate how difficult it is?
Um, why do they exaggerate it? Because somewhere deep down within the ones who are exaggerating it are fully convinced that veganism is not good for health.
Yeah,
And those people who are like, exaggerating it and full flow and putting up videos going, why am I not a vegan anymore?
yeah,
And some of them have linked it up to religion.
yeah. I guess it's just very weird because we've had some person on Norwegian television sometimes, and a friend of mine was debating him on live television, and he brought up like, "Oh, you just have to take this pill, and then you can eat whatever. That's how easy it is to be vegan." And the other one like, "Oh, it's a little bit more difficult than that." And it's like, what do you expect from people? Do you think people are so stupid that they can't take a pill and eat in an abundance?
And isn't that like so risky? Like the people who come up with these pills, do they think of like human life there? Like what if another person, like there's a lot of medicines which are great in pharmacies, but there are some odd ones which are
Well,
done
right,
more
right,
harm.
right now I was talking about supplements.
Supplements,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
So I wasn't talking about like medicines and such. I was just like you take this one pill, this multiple vitamin pill, and then you're done. Then you can just eat whatever.
so on that's funny. And on the supplements bit, I am a perfect example for it. I actually forgot to mention this. So I used to have whey protein. Whey
Whey
protein
protein, yeah,
is a milk product,
yeah, yeah,
which
sure.
apparently is a waste product from milk side of things, which is
Oh,
being
we make cheese out of it in Norway, by the way.
oh, all right. So it's
We
a
call it brown. We
byproduct.
call it brown cheese. It's
Oh,
it's like very sweet and stuff because there's so much lactose in it.
cheese is tasty. Like when it comes to this whey protein powder, I used to have it a lot when I used to hit the gym, and then I started to have allergies.
Yeah,
I don't know, I would scratch my right calf all the time, and then I gave that up because someone else mentioned the exact same thing they had to go through whey protein, but they didn't mention veganism, and I
yeah,
took vegan protein powder, and it was all fine.
yeah. Majority of India are lactose intolerant, so if you take whey protein, then that's going to be a lot of lactose.
Mm, but the way they advertise is scary.
It is.
There was a tub of protein powder called Max's protein, and I hope they don't sue me for defamation. Not that I have millions anyway, but and in that there was this like they would have animated person with like huge arms, like bigger than Arnold,
Yeah, I don't
and
remember, but like Vegan Games made a video back where he said that rice powder is just as effective as whey protein,
yeah,
which is
it is.
interesting.
It is good for health. I've tried it. Rice protein just doesn't taste as good.
Okay,
But
yeah,
then there's some newer brands which take like say 5 to 6 sources of vegan protein,
yeah,
add some really nice flavor to it, and it's like very yum to consume it. Yeah,
yeah.
and
It was just very interesting.
it it is. But like humans get sucked into it with all the advertising.
Yeah,
I got
true.
sucked into it.
It's advertising and people like the reason why people believe these animal products are so necessary is because media just tells us all the time.
Yeah, absolutely, media tells us there's a documentary which like shows why do we get sucked into it. It's called Faster, Stronger, Bigger.
Yeah, healthier
It's a
teeth. Yeah, with
have you
dairy
watched
you get your calcium. You know.
have you watched that documentary?
No, I'm not sure if I watched that documentary, but I've seen all
Okay.
the documentaries. I remember watching The Truth About Meat. It was a BBC a series called Truth About, and this one was all about meat. and they focused so on the wrong different type of things throughout. I made an entire video on it. It was just so bizarre. They focus on TMAOs, which are proven not to be the reason why cancer tend to be. And they should have like focused on like heme iron or cholesterol. They did focus on saturated fat, and they put some people through a session where they were to half their amount of meat during that process. And it just ended up with them just being told that now you've consumed half the amount. This is the amount of saturated fat you used to eat. This is the amount that you have been eating now. And like, wow, what a concept! If you eat less saturated fat, you've eaten less saturated fat. What a scientific discovery!
Gotta expose them. Just if go at this minute in this YouTube video, it was this exposed.
Yeah, it was just so bizarre. No,
It is bizarre.
it was an absolute joke.
It's
Like,
it's perpetually justifying that, and the cycle goes on. Justification of why this and that.
yeah,
People come up with very clever ways to manipulate humans.
yeah,
Very clever advertising.
true.
So this whole documentary that I was talking about, there's another one called Male Gaze,
Yeah,
Guise. It's about like how men are being trained to go faster, stronger, bigger, and like let's and to get there you gotta eat meat. You know? And there's vegan bodybuilders where this basically on their faces now. Where,
yeah.
check this.
Also, with the amount of athletes that are now going vegan and they're performing better. We're not talking about Tim Schiff here because he went away from veganism, drank his own urine and blamed it all on veganism. But yeah, you got like Patrick Baboumian, you got these I don't remember all the names of these athletes, uh,
Mhm.
but you have so many people now going
Djokovic.
vegan. Yeah,
Djokovic is vegan, openly vegan. Djokovic,
oh yeah, yeah,
the tennis player,
yeah. Know about him.
he's vegan.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Oh, you're
of
you're uh,
people.
you're you're uh, you're breaking up.
So there's a lot of people from Hollywood who
Yeah.
are like also vegan.
Yeah, yeah, true. I've seen so many, and I also seen those who make like a huge fuss about that they couldn't make it as vegan, but then you got the people that do it quite well. I remember the thing about Miley Cyrus when she said that the vegan diet kind of destroyed her cognitive ability. But the thing is,
Okay.
she had a brain injury from when she was young, and she was smoking so much weed, and she blamed it all on veganism.
All right.
It's like, no, it wasn't the weed or the brain the brain injury. It must be the vegetables. Come on. It's like,
That's wrong causation to it.
yeah.
And yeah,
Well, she
like
said she said it was important because she needed fish oil. Well, if that was true, she could have taken like algae supplement. It's
mm,
like, but it
it's
mostly it's just nonsense. Most definitely,
a
but
balanced diet can fix it.
yeah,
We must just ask, can you show us whatever you ate for all this time? Where was this source of this thing? Did you
yeah.
think about that? Speaking of Miley Cyrus, I'm attracted to women with beautiful hair. So can you stop playing with your hair, please?
Okay, sorry. Sorry. I was actually complained a lot when I was in a debate with this politician because we were outside and it was raining. You couldn't see it on camera. But the thing is, when I was standing there, hair was my hair was getting wet, so I was like standing so like this a lot, and
I
and
have that
people
problem.
and people made a fuss about it. So it's like, oh, this the debate was so and so, but can he stop playing with his hair? No.
I get jealous. I get jealous, hey, because I
Oh,
was in
yeah,
here
yeah,
all
yeah.
my life and
Oh
it's
man,
probably in the hormones.
I'm gonna own up to it.
It's a good problem to have. You must have a girlfriend. Probably that's the reason why I
Yeah,
don't,
I do
because
have a girlfriend.
I don't veganism.
Yeah, my girlfriend is featured a lot on my channel as well. We had a long bicycle trip as well on this channel. So if you're interested in
She's a
watching it,
vegan as well. Hey,
come again?
she's a vegan.
Yeah,
She's a
she's vegan.
vegan
Yeah,
as well.
of
Good
course she's
on you.
vegan. I've tried non-vegan girlfriends before. Never again.
Strangely though, like I don't know, I should probably mention this that there are some spiritual teachers in India who have gone, look, let's focus on humanity and all of that. Like the diet side of things, they've left it as a sensitive topic, and people fall in love. And what can they do if someone eats meat? So for me, my ex was from India and in Sydney, and she ate meat,
Yeah,
but just up to chicken. And I never said no. I just said, look, just whenever I give you a washing machine kiss, just make sure you brush your teeth.
yeah. Imagine your birthday. Yeah, it was very similar to the thing that I think it was something that vegan teacher. Have you heard about her?
Um,
No,
what's the
she's
name?
huge. She's huge on TikTok. She's called that vegan teacher. She's
Oh,
being
I don't know.
no, she's being criticized heavily, also from this unnatural vegan. Have you heard about her?
No,
No, okay.
I
No,
haven't
they're
heard of.
basically big names. Unnatural vegan is debatably vegan or not, due to a few views that she has. But that vegan teacher complained about somebody. I'm not sure if it was that vegan teacher or somebody else, but it was something about why would you kiss your boyfriend while after he has been like consuming dead corpses and such. It's and this has been like this huge drama nowadays. It's some fun thing to look into, but only if your mentality is on hold, you know.
Yeah, look, ideally, I'd like to have a vegan person, but
Yeah,
if I fall in love with someone, it's gonna be difficult.
yeah. I
Because
had I had a girlfriend in the UK. Um, it didn't go out. It didn't work so well. Uh, the thing that really made us really disagree was basically dog food. Of everything, it was dog food that really made things go like pretty bad, I guess.
all right, so to feed the dog something really bad, you mean?
No, it was just
Or-
that I was talking about maybe I'm not doing it now, but I was thinking of maybe adopting a dog. Like I can get vegan dog food and such, and she was like, "No, don't do it. They're carnivores and such." And like, have you read the science on this? But we went back and forth like that, and I was like, yes, this study says that it can sustain dogs. No, no, I don't want them to be sustained. I want them to thrive. And I was like, uh,
that
thrive is not a scientific term, though.
And there's good products now for like pet food. Is vegan pet food has at least here it's gone
Yeah,
to a good level in Australia,
yeah, it's
and
getting
in India
better.
they've just basically trained them to eat this or that, like
Yeah,
human food. Like, oh, here's some leftover food from my vegetarian kitchen.
yeah,
Here, dog, eat it. Yeah,
yeah,
but chicken in India has like vegetarian people in India
yeah,
have a lot of young kids in cities have started to desensitize themselves around chicken.
yeah,
Hindus as well,
yeah,
Hindus as well, because the fast food industry just basically added it and just made it tasty and all of that. So people have desensitized them towards it and gone, oh, well, chicken.
yeah. I know like some people who are vegan, but are still adopted like snakes and such, and they have to like feed them mice, and I'm like,
Mm.
how many mice is it worth killing to keep that one snake alive? it's a very huge topic that is like very really difficult to deal with.
Sorry about this.
No, it's
That's
fine.
it's human insanity has made me very like different person now.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. And
So
like
yeah.
something more happened. So I had an experience, and this topic is like related to it. I had an experience of ayahuasca and San Pedro psychedelics, and what it
Okay.
does is that it opens up all of like there's something in it where your chakras or the
Yeah, yeah,
energy on the spine just opens, and now like the level of feeling towards humans and animals has gone to. I was already sensitive as Pisces, double Pisces,
yeah,
but this has gone to another level. There's
yeah,
not a single. After that, every dog that I've like said hi to has responded well, except like some really young puppies who are scared with everyone, or some dog who's been traumatized by some human. Every dog. There's a lot of dogs here. I say hi to them and connect with them, and I could like, oh my god, I can feel this dog's personality.
yeah.
A
For,
lot more.
for those out there that doesn't know what ayahuasca is, it's basically combined two type of should I say herbs or what should I say?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a plant based
yeah, yeah,
medicine.
yeah, two herbs that you combine, and alone they don't have a psychedelic effect, but together they do. And it's not anything that makes you what do you call hooked on it or anything. So it's not like one of those like really dangerous substances,
No,
but
it's not.
it does have a psychedelic effect, and that's what he's talking about now. Okay,
Yeah,
continue.
but I'm not like saying people do it. I'm just sharing my experience.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's something which you shouldn't say do it.
No, no, I'm not
And
saying either way. I'm just yeah, spilling the facts.
and when when you saw the movie Avatar, there's the tree,
Yeah,
that main tree. Apparently, in Amazon jungle, there's a lot of like neural nets which connect to this main tree,
yeah, I heard about
and
it.
they use that like one of the ingredients is from that,
Yeah,
and it's known as the mother of all medicines.
yeah,
Um, and oh, the other thing that happened is now when I eat food, my liking towards organic foods and like more purer foods has gone to another level. I
yeah,
feel how it's gonna like it's just like it's healthy. I can feel it a
yeah.
lot more.
It's very interesting. I remember watching this television show called Dual Survival. It's basically one of these like military survival person and this primitive alternative survival person in like the same show, and this was like in a later series. So this alternative survival person, he was like stopping one of them from like cutting off that one vine, and he was like, no, this is the mother vine. If you cut off that vine, then all the trees around here will die. And he just thought he was crazy, but he convinced him to just cut some other vines than just that one vine. It was just a very interesting thing.
Without research, just convinced himself and did it.
Yeah, he just told him and like, okay, I'll cut another vine then. But he was like really like weirded out by it.
That's like there's a lot of like people who do like they have some screw loose. I think they
Yeah,
do some weird things and you just go ahead and do it. I don't get it.
no. Very interesting. Do you have any other topics that you want to go over right now, or are we quite fine?
We're quite fine. I just wanted to just basically do this to you and go, thanks, man. I can feel the divinity within you, and you're doing good work. And I don't see races, I don't see colors, and I feel connection. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we connected.
Yeah, great. Is there some site that you want me to connect you to or any?
And whatever you like, mate. I'm gonna add your channel on YouTube. You're on YouTube, hey?
Yeah, I'm
Your
on
channel.
YouTube. Do you have a channel or something?
I don't have a channel. No, I'm like a
No.
writer activist, and I was going to put myself on YouTube with certain very sensitive topics of the world, but
Yeah, true, true.
I got scared.
Is there somewhere that I can add if people want to contact you or something, or are you fine?
No worries. You can give my Facebook ID if you like, or
Okay.
no worries on it.
Yeah, sounds
I
good.
don't mind.
I'll add it in the description. Okay,
All right, brother.
okay. Thank you so much for coming on. Dhanyavad.
Per Ola. How do you say thank you in Norway?
Tuck.
Talk?
Yeah, tuck, exactly.
Talk.
TAKK. Tuck.
Talk.
Tuck. Dhanyavad.
Pleasure, brother. Pleasure.
Okay, okay. See ya. Take care.
Okay. Cheers.